The Zune, Microsoft's so-called iPod killer, is mostly remembered as a Guardians of the Galaxy prop. But what if I told you in 2025 it can still compete? Today I'm putting my brown Zune 30, the same one Star-Lord carried, plus a pink one, head-to-head with the legendary iPod Classic 5.5 and the iPod Classic 7th Gen. This isn't just nostalgia, I daily draw these devices for a week, swapping my usual modern gear for pure retro. The question was simple, which one would I actually want to carry today? And trust me, the result surprised me. First up, the Zune 30. Mine is in the infamous brown finish, plus a pink version. It's chunky, quirky, and built around that tactile squircle pad. Inside, a 30GB hard drive, decent color screen, and Microsoft Vision for portable music. Against it, the iPod Classic 5.5 with its beloved Wolfson DAC and a huge modding scene. And finally, the 7th Gen iPod Classic with its Cyrus DAC, 160GB capacity, and the last click-wheel flagship Apple ever made. Getting the Zune to work in 2025 is a project. You need legacy Zune software, patch drivers, sometimes even community mirrors just to load your first track. Transfers are slow and playlist handling feels clunky. The iPods still sync through iTunes or the modern music app. Or skip Apple entirely, install a Rockbox and you've got FLAC support, gapless playback and a full EQ. Setup round clearly goes to the iPod. In cold boot to playback test, iPod wins by a few seconds. Searching through the track library, the iPod clickwheel is still lightning quick. The Zune's pad feels nice, but it's less accurate and lags slightly. Outdoors, the iPod screen is also brighter and easier to see. When they were new, the Zune 30 promised around 14 hours of audio. In my test today, mine barely made it past 7. The iPod 5.5 clocked in around 10 hours, and the 7th Gen over 20 hours before shutting down. That's a massive advantage if you are still using these devices daily. The iPod 5.5 with its Wolfson DAC has that classic warm, musical sound. The Zune has a smooth, slightly warm signature, but it struggles with high impedance headphones. The iPod 7 is cleaner with a tighter bass and more neutral tonality. Here's the real difference. The iPod 7 outputs digital audio over its 30-pin connector. This means it works with MFI certified DACs from Oppo, TAC, Sony, or even Fostex. I even pair it with the Sony PHA-3 together with my Sennheiser HD660S in full balance mode, a party trick no one expects from a 2009 iPod. The iPod 5.5 and Zune 30 can still connect to the external DACs, but only through analog, which means they're headphone out into the DACs line in. It works, but you're still hearing the internal DAC. The iPod 7 can also be modded, but it's a lot harder to open. The clips bend, the frame cracks, and sometimes you can damage it beyond repair. The iPod 5.5 and the Zune 30 are easy to open. You can swap in a new battery, replace the screen, and upgrade the hard drive to SSD or flash. So, if you love tinkering, the 5.5 and the Zune 30 are friendlier. Both Apple and Microsoft even made remotes. The Zune and iPod have comparable remotes with inline controls, headphone jack. They're fun extras if you do not want to show off your devices. The Zune has charm, the pad is fun, and it turns heads when people notice it. But the iPods are more practical. They're faster, lighter, easier to pocket, and syncing playlist is just smoother. They feel less collectibles and more like everyday tools. So, in 2025, who wins? If you want nostalgia and conversation value, the Zune is unmatched. If you want warm sound and easy mods, the iPod 5.5 is the sweetheart. If you want maximum capacity, battery, and modern DAC support, the iPod 7 is king. But the fact we are debating this in 2025 just shows how strong these devices still are. So, Zune or iPod in 2025? Which one would you carry? Tell me in the comments. And if you enjoyed this retro showdown, check out my other videos on iPods, DACs and vintage headphones. Links are down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It keeps these devices alive and lets me keep making more retro content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.